Hey YouTube, Lawler here. Got another roster video for y'all today. As always, as a reminder, description down below for the roster document. It's your best way to stay up to date on all things Rocket League related. Also, while you're down there, consider hitting subscribe, turn on notifications. But let's jump into the roster news. First things first, after 8 years in the RLCS, G2 has officially said goodbye. They do put out a post thanking all of their teams, all their players, all the results, of course, the entire history of G2. Which leads me to believe, and I don't want to assume necessarily, but it does make me feel like G2 will not be picking up a team and has fully left the space. There's a lot of reasons as to why, but primarily it is due to financial reasons and not being able to support a team without a title partnership. Now, there is still a possibility that G2 could go pick up Oski, Itachi, and Nas if that is the case, if they do find a sponsor back over in Europe. Doesn't seem to be likely, but there is a potential, so don't count them out yet. My assumption, though, is based upon them saying thank you to everybody and them basically saying, like, after 8 years, we're done. I would assume that is not the case. You just never know what could happen. So, pretty crazy. 8 years of Rocket League and G2 now leaving. We also saw the other winningest organization in BDS also take a step back. Not a good look for RL Esports. What is a good look is JNAP's finding a new team. I selfishly am a big fan of JNAPS. I love him as a person and how he provides and how he supports. Love JNAPS as a person, and I love watching his gameplay, even if people think he's washed and calling for his number. I'm always happy to root for his teams because he's just such a likable guy. Going the opposite route, OG felt like they had a really good base level, but their ceiling wasn't that high. The peaks weren't there. This seems to be the other route. The ceiling is a lot higher, but the base level, the floor, could be a lot lower. I'm a little bit concerned about what this team may look like, but I am very excited to see what it is capable of. I think JNAPS with Eris and Aqua, while they're not rookies, have never really been given the true, I guess, chance to go and be successful, potentially. I think Eris maybe a little bit more than Aqua. But Aqua proven that he's very, very talented on that Squishy Muffins roster that we saw for the Muffin Men. And for Eris, we've seen, obviously, with the Moist team and Pirates on a Boat, a lot of potential in him. So I am very excited to see how this team does and how they perform. Trey also being able to detach from the Percy conversation. If you guys don't remember, Percy coming in with Alpine, then Torrent, or Alpine, not Alpine, sorry. Formula 1's coming up next week. But Trey was always attached to the hip with Percy. He did the same thing when he left for Exit and stayed with him for a really long time. Tried to remove that conversation and that narrative when he went over to delete it for a little bit. But in this circumstance, new team, good opportunity. I actually really like this roster and its potential. But can they consistently make top 4, top 8? I don't know. Excited to find out, though. Up next, we do have confirmations, or more rumors, I should say. Obviously, the Kofer and Nolly duo seems to be a pretty given pairing. I think the phrasing on this is a little bit awkward, but the duo, Nolly and Kofer, are looking between probably one of two players, which is Evo or Wavy. Which one's a better option? I would assume Wavy, personally, based on how things have gone with Evo, but I think we all can agree that Evo has been, like, on the field as a talent, there is no dismissing how good he can be as a player, but there has been issues, and there is a reason why Dignitas decided to go with Gyro instead. I think if you put those three together, though, it is very similar in its own respect to what we just saw with JNAPS. Potential to fight for top 4, but will it be something that we see consistent results out of? We'll have to wait and see. Again, Nolly, I think, played perfectly fine last season until it came to the major, where the results were a little bit lesser based upon the expectations we have for him. So very interested to see how this one plays out. And outside of that, we saw a bunch of teasers from Space Station on the previous days being like, hey, what's coming up? Everybody talking brr, everybody, like, we all knew it's already been leaked, but they officially announced it to make it confirmed. The Snowman roster has been picked up. They are going to be repping for Space Station. They have an official video that is pretty dope. Xperia is going to be joining them as the coach and hopefully leading this young roster to success and seeing if he can recreate the solid stuff that he did with the Team Liquid Boys and Atao and Oski before they went on to make a name for themselves. So some pretty exciting stuff there, but that's what we've got for roster stuff for you all today. Pretty crazy stuff across the board. As always, description down below for the roster document if you want to stay up to date on all things. I try to update it as frequently as I can. And an upcoming video, we have confirmation about details finally for FIFA E. Still a lot of things like format and stuff we're missing out on, but we do have the confirmed teams and we have some of the dates and specifics that we need to know. So want to make sure you don't miss out on that. As always, like, subscribe, notifications. Let me know what you think down below. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.